riding along in my automobile. Nobody beside me at the wheel. Nobody telling me what to say. I hit record and you hit play. Welcome along, everybody. This is Marcus Oglesby, comedian and pontificator on life. Thanks for coming along. It's the second episode of Riding with Marcus. I call it a podcast-ish. That's my term for it. I don't know if it's really a podcast if you're just talking to yourself. But I just basically take folks along as I'm riding in a car, hands-free, Bluetooth, all that. Nothing dangerous. And welcome aboard. You get to experience this. The first thing I wanted to talk about, maybe the only thing, the other night, I think it was, this is Friday night on August 22nd. What is this? Yeah, August 22nd. The other night, probably Wednesday night or Tuesday night, my son, Mountain, who's 6 years old, first time this has happened, we're trying to get him in bed earlier because his school started. And the first time this has happened, he was, I guess, scared of the dark. And he's said that before, but he's never really been upset about it. And he'll go to bed, and he's always slept in his own bed. We never let him sleep in our bed, so we didn't spoil him. And like I say, he's 6 years old, but his imagination is starting to run wild. And I remember that. I remember how my imagination, and to this day, I have to remind myself sometimes walking through the house at night in the dark that I'm somebody's dad. And I can't be scared. I mean, you know, if I'm scared, who's going to protect my son? So I totally get where he's coming from. So, you know, the other night he also watched a little bit of Shark Week, and that kind of scared him. And of course, these days, kids can't live their life without hearing about zombies and vampires every day. So it's tough on a little guy, man. So we set his timer on his TV each night, give him a few minutes. And that always helps him if he can get to sleep before the TV goes off. And I'm sure plenty of people, even adults, are familiar with that race. If you can get to sleep before the timer goes off, you got that noise and you're not, you know, hearing every little crack and creak that sets you off. So we set his timer. Anyway, when it ran out, he knew he wasn't getting any more because it's a school night. So he, you know, hollered for me to come snuggle, which, how can you resist when your kid asks you to snuggle with him? So I went in there and laid in the bed with him, and we talked. We had great conversations. I don't remember much of what we were talking about the other night until we got to the point where he was crying and he was upset. And he told me he loved me. And we were talking. He was upset about having a spelling test today. Actually, he didn't want to do bad on his test. And of course, I told him I wanted him to do good, and he should always try and do his best. I'd love him either way. The same old lines us parents give. But then he told me he was upset because he was scared of the dark. And I tried to be comical and act. You know, this is our house. And ain't nothing in here that I don't want to be in here, and you lucky you in here. That's what I told him. So I turned the lights on, showed him everything was fine, and we turned the lights off. I was laying there with him, and he said what was bothering him was the shadows on the ceiling. And what it is his night light is down by the floor, and it casts shadows up on the ceiling of the curtain rod, and the top of the curtain is ruffled. It's wavy, and that was bugging him. So I explained to him what it was and how it worked. And I told him the story when I was a kid, and my older brother can attest to this. Our mom kept our clothes, a lot of our underwear and socks, on top of a dresser over in the corner of our room. And me and my brother shared a room till he was like maybe 10 or 11. And the nightlight was behind the socks and underwear and stuff. And it would cast shadows out across the room that were the nastiest looking goblins and warlocks and zombies and just shit you just can't even imagine. And our imaginations would just go crazy with it. And, you know, we didn't even really talk about it back then because we were too scared to make a noise. He was sitting over there scared, and I was laying over in my bed scared, and neither one of us could even console each other. And it was awful stuff. And some nights they seemed to move. I know they wasn't moving, but we had mice. Maybe that's what was going on. So I totally felt bad for my son, and I understood. I could relate, and I try to make him feel better. And you know, he's got a little music box that has a light on it, but it goes off quickly. And so I turned the hall light on for him until he could get to sleep, and that works because it shines a pretty good light into his room. But I don't know how to help him, because like I said, I still can't even hardly watch scary movies. I'm 39 years old, y'all. I could barely watch scary movies, and if it depends on what kind of scary movie. Monsters don't bother me, you know, and I've even got a bit of little girls bother me. You know, little girls are like, oh, The Ring. I can't even, you know, it just tears me up inside. When I saw The Ring, the next, like 2 days later, well, that night, I couldn't even sleep. I look out the window, and the little girl was standing in my front yard, just standing there looking at me with her hair over her face, right? I was scared to look out the window because I knew that's what I'd see. And then I had to go up to a hunting camp, and it was like 9 hours. I was living in Tennessee at the time, down near Nashville. So it was 9 hours to get all the way back to West Virginia to go to hunting camp. And the whole way up there, I'm dreading the 2 minutes when I get, because the camp was in the middle of nowhere, and I'll have to tell more about the camp some other time, but Greenbrier County, in the middle of nowhere, and the whole 9 hours I'm dreading the 2 minutes that I'm going to have to get out of the truck in the dark, pitch dark. You could see every star in the sky because there was no artificial light. The only light I was going to have was my headlights, obviously. But I was going to have to get out of the truck, walk up and open the gate across the road to the hunting camp. Come back, get in the truck, drive through the gate, get out again. After all the little nasties are alerted to my presence, I got to get back out of the truck, walk back there and close the gate, and then get back in the truck. So I'm actually thinking about this when I leave my driveway in Tennessee, 9 hours away, and several times during the trip. So the moment finally comes at 2 o'clock in the morning, just pitch black and pitch quiet, if that's a word, if that's a phrase. You could hear every noise that animals were making. So I go up and I go out and I open the gate. I'm strong, y'all. I open the gate, I drive my truck through the gate, and then I get out and I walk back, and I got my four-wheeler trailer on the back of the truck with my four-wheeler and stuff on it. I walk back, I close the gate, and the door's open to my truck as I'm walking back, and I know I just got to get to that door, man. That's all I want, because the next time I get out, we'll be at the camp, and Dad and I think my brother and them was already there. So all I want to do is get in that door. So as I'm walking back past the four-wheeler trailer to the corner of the truck, I totally forgot I was bringing a beagle from my friend Jeff Toporowski. Oh, I hope his kids don't hear this. I'm not sure what the official story was, why their beagle was gone. Anyway, I'm bringing this beagle to my dad because he keeps beagles and goes hunting and stuff. Not that this one was ever going to be a hunting dog, but I'm bringing this dog to him, and I forgot it was back there. And it was in a crate, but it also had its chain on its collar from where it had been an outside dog in the yard. So as I walk by, this dog moves and rattles this chain in a plastic crate. And my heart completely stopped. It felt like it exploded. I took 2 huge steps trying to get to the door of the truck. And as I planted my push-off foot, my left foot, to push off and jump up in the truck, as I planted that foot, it slipped in the mud. And I went underneath the truck. My right leg was underneath the left tire of the truck, and the only thing that saved me was I had reached in and grabbed the steering wheel with my right hand. So and I got long arms, so my body is pretty much under the truck, and I'm holding the steering wheel, laying on my back, and I started laughing hysterically at this grown man who was chased under the truck at the thought of a little girl with her hair over her face, rattling a chain, coming to get me. And I've never been so happy to be alone, which is the one thing that was scaring me for 9 hours, was being alone. And I was so glad nobody was there to see it. But I'm also glad to be able to share it with you guys, man. I can't take that kind of stuff. I'm weak. I'm a wuss. The girls at work, Miss Cheryl Harrell. Oh my gosh, man. And they bought me a nightlight. They bought a nightlight and put it under my desk. Rachel, I forgot, I'm sorry. Rachel may have actually even bought the nightlight. But they put it under my desk after I watched The Ring because they knew how scared I was of it. And they call me and whisper, 7 days, 7 days. And that stuff still bothers me. I got so many stories of me being scared you just wouldn't even believe, man. Anyway, I'm gonna check on out of here because I'm almost to my destination. And it's been fun. Please tune in every now and then. If you see my links, not only like them, but share them, please. That's where I'm breaking down. I get a lot of likes, but I need shares. It's like the stock market. I need a lot of shares. That's why I'm gonna get out and go viral and be able to do this for a living. So any help y'all can give, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. This is Riding with Marcus.